Howdy folks, Brian Cusco here at Triple B, and we've got Bob Vu on today. I met Bob at Daytona several years back, and he had just won the staff from the US ARC auction. I went up to congratulate him because I thought it was awesome. If you don't know about this staff that gets passed around the US ARC auction, it goes to every Daytona, I believe it is, and somebody wins it and it gets passed on to the next winner the next year. And it's, anyway, Bob is an amazing guy that I've wanted to have on for a while. His approach to the industry and hobby, and in the last several years becoming a full-time professional in the hobby. Just listen to what Bob has to say. I think you'll agree. You're watching Triple B TV. You built a strong brand and name for yourself without pushing all that hard on social media, it seems to me, at least.
Right.
I mean,
So I was like doing it on my personal Facebook page. So it was like just me interacting with my friends. It seems more like than me pushing a brand on people like with sponsorship or sponsored ads or anything. So it's just like me sharing what I do with my friends. It seems like with 5,000 friends. So.
yeah, because it's definitely mostly through Facebook is where you've gotten your
Right.
exposure, right?
I've used more Instagram this year, just because my wife told me it's a way better platform, and I can reach more people. With Facebook, you're capped, and with Instagram, they don't have as many rules. I can post animals more freely and stuff like that.
Which is interesting because Instagram is owned by Facebook now, but
Right.
they still kind of kept some of the platforms.
Right, you don't get flagged for posting an animal, and if there's a word, keywords like available or sale or shipping, they don't flag it. On Facebook, they'll flag automatically as soon as you put like this animal's available. Boom, you're getting flagged for animal sales. So we've been transitioning using a lot more Instagram, and I've noticed a lot more interaction on there, and sales have been really good on there too.
Is this full time for you?
Yeah, so I went full-time in 2016. I quit my day job. I was a director for an insurance company, and I just called my boss and quit, and they were like, wait, what? And I told my parents about it, and so I used to wear like a suit and tie to work every day, and now we just cargo shorts and,
Or
snake
full
shirts.
panda suits and
Full panda suits, yeah, snake shirts. Yeah.
I love the fun aspect of it too. Like you're clearly good at, like you obviously have a business mindset if you're able to take this and go full time with it.
Right.
So I guess I was basically like just kind of getting into the swing of things as you were going full, like as far as coming back from the island and like building more out into the hobby and the industry and the community.
Right.
I kind of was coming in as you were just transitioning from 9 to 5 into this.
That. Right. So when we were transitioning in, we're trying to find basically our footing into the industry. Is like, are we going to produce a ton of animals? Or are we going to produce 30 clutches of like the best stuff possible? So we kind of like fell in between where I'm like, okay, what if we did like 100 clutches? And we have animals for your $300 animals, and then you also try to shoot for your $5,000-$10,000 animals, and it just seems to work out really well for us. The market's wider that way for us, and it seems like from this show especially, I've seen animal sales amazing from $300 all the way up. Right now, currently the market's going through an area where people are buying more investment quality type animals. I've talked to a lot of vendors. All of their $2,000 to $5,000 snakes are selling faster than their pet snakes. So the market's like changing constantly, and it seems as long as you're able to adapt with that, I think you'll do well in the industry.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that myself. Is that even though I only produced a few clutches a year at this point, like you said, that range from 2 to 5 just
boom,
was
instant.
gone.
Yeah.
And the ones that sat around a little bit were like the $300 and $400.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
it's interesting. What do you think it is that's driving that?
So I think the biggest factor of it is the money factor. You have Miguel Garcia, you got Justin, you have Ozzy, and you have Billy Rowe pushing the market side of things. They're explaining the money side, how much money you can do at a show, how much morph markets affected everything. Morph market's a huge factor, of course, and really them explaining how much money they potentially could make per clutch, per year, and then per investment animal. And some of these newer investors are coming in more excited. They're coming in, seeing these guys make money and go to auctions and donate, tens of thousands of dollars. And it's just, I think it really helps the industry out.
Yeah.
So.
And that also helps the animals. Some people would think that like, oh, the money is not thing to focus on, but if you are focused, like it helps the animals in the end, I think.
Right.
Because you can't take it, you can't make money at it if you're not taking good care of the animals.
Right.
You just
like
can't.
you got to look at videos like, Justin's facility is amazing, right? So that's where the animals will be kept in pristine conditions. We're able to, guys like me, where we're starting to get to the point where we have too many animals for one person to take care of. Where the money side helps because now I can afford to pay someone to come in, scrub all the tubs, make sure everything's flipped and cleaned. On a weekly basis, everything has to be get spot cleaned out and stuff like that. And the money, people are like, it's not all about money. I'm like, but yes, but I'm also affecting 4 other families by hiring them in full time to help me with this business, and all of that. And then we're able to provide way better care for the animals that way. So that's where the money comes in.
Yeah, and you put your money where your mouth is. Like I haven't been to one yet, but I know you like put on your own US ARC auction
right
at the Atlanta show. Is that
right? So
right?
Every year Atlanta show we do an auction. It's nothing like a Tinley auction, obviously, but we still do upwards of $25,000. Last year we did $30,000. That all goes straight to the USARC mothership. I'm in Georgia. We don't really have much of legal issues in Georgia with the state. But we understand that overall, all of us will need help at some point. And when it does happen, we're going to be prepared for it, and we're going to raise as much money as possible for USARC. And I feel like every breeder should at least, if you're not able to donate, if you're not able to throw your own auctions, whatever, just come out, even buy a $50 item or whatever. You're benefiting from this industry. You should be putting something back in.
Couldn't agree with that more, dude. And also, to your point, though, the 25 to 30, that's nothing to sneeze at. I was just talking to Vin Russo last week, and he was saying that was what an auction used to pull at a Tinley show, 25, 30,000. And now it's jumped, to the 120 we made last night.
Right.
But the 25 to 30 is nothing to sneeze at.
Right. The $30,000 at a time, I tell people, 30 grand at a time, it builds up. If you're having me doing the one in Atlanta, if someone can do one in, the Carolinas or whatever, wherever these major shows are, if you just even do one a year and you have 50 different states do it, so or I guess 48 states that can keep reptiles do it. So
they got them up in Alaska.
That's right. I've shipped to Alaska before, so I guess only Hawaii, right? That's the problem. But you have 49 states to raise $30,000 a year for USARC, or Florida and Chicago and Texas raise way more money with the NARBC shows. 120 grand last year is amazing. This year, right? It's amazing, and then 120 last year. So these shows are bringing in way more money every auction. I feel like I can keep upping it at our shows. Maybe we'll put a goal for 50 next time, something like that.
Yeah, it's fantastic, man. It's so super important. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's taking more foothold in the hobby scenes. More and more people are realizing how important it really is, and really getting behind it.
Right.
But it's great that you've done a big part in that yourself. So I appreciate you doing
Thank
that,
you.
man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Dude, let's take a look at the animals you brought to the table.
Okay. Yeah. So here I'm just gonna show off a few animals we took to the show. Today is Sunday, so unfortunately I've sold a lot of animals. So here's one of my favorites we produced recently. This is a cinnamon fire Batman. So I've noticed not a lot of people work cinnamons into their clowns. And this year we've gone kind of heavy. I have 3 different males that were cinnamon clown breeder males. And this is fairly, I say, a simple pairing. It was a cinnamon Batman to a fire clown. But so we hit all of it here, and I think the cinnamon gives you a lot to work with. It takes that, it gives that chocolatey base, and you can add a lot more to this. I can imagine this into a desert ghost animal. That's where the market's traveling towards, so that this animal can protect this color as a 3,000 gram animal. So this is one of the favorite ones I produced recently. And then the next animal I will show is a personal project of mine. This is from my project I found 3 years ago called the Voodoo. This is a leopard lesser voodoo. The voodoo is more granite type gene.
I was going to say it breaks up that pattern like crazy along the side compared to what a leopard lesser would
dark. Yeah, it makes it so dark. And I have a leopard voodoo on the table at Morph Market table, an adult female, just to show how well they age. They seem to keep most of their color. The pattern stays about the same, really vibrant. So I'm really excited to see, a clown version of this at the end of this year, desert ghost version, a hypo version. We're adding a lot of stuff into it, confusions, cypress, bongos. So anything busy, anything dark, I'm really excited to see it in. I've noticed anything, with your pastels and your fires, it doesn't show up as well. So a lot of your dark granity type projects, You want to go get more darkness to it, but add a lot of contrast to it by using your leucistic complex animals to add a lot of this contrast into it. So we're going to be debuting a lot of these animals here this weekend, and really excited about it. We had a lot of people ask and want to look at them. So
Killer, man. I know you mentioned Desert Ghost a couple times, which I 100% agree with. It's like, is there anything that you see that Desert Ghost wouldn't work in as far as keeping it nicer as an adult? Or that
I have about half of my collection is revolved around Desert Ghosts. This year we've been very fortunate. We've hatched Desert Ghost Clowns, Desert Ghost Pieds, 1 Desert Ghost Azanthic, and 2 Desert Ghost Tri-Stripes. So my collection is pretty Desert Ghost focused, and I have yet to see one like not good-looking Desert Ghost animal. So I've liked all of them.
Yeah,
So.
I've kind of said from time to time that Desert Ghost is something you could work into literally every single project.
Any project. Like some of your double recessives tend to get a little limited. Like even in my opinion, Clown Pieds can become limited because if you add a certain gene to it, it's way too white or whatever. Desert Ghost doesn't have that problem at all. All it does is changes the tint of it, and it protects it from browning out, and it protects it from getting the freckles. So, I mean, every animal that hatches, it's going to be as ugly as it's ever going to be, and it just gets better every single shed from there on. So, you know, the day that the baby comes out, that's the worst it'll ever look. You know, unlike most other morphs where it'll look good out of the egg, and then 6 months later it's browned out. So I think the Desert Ghost, that's the advantage of working Desert Ghost, is you'll have a great-looking 3,000-gram animal.
And you have to put some time and dedication into doing it since it's recessive. It's not like you just like, oh, well, we'll just put it in here. It's like you got to work for it.
With today's market, you can't just go buy 10 Desert Ghost, females to plug stuff to. I mean, every single person has come up to my table, you got any Desert Ghost females? Like, oh, I mean, so it's been how it's been.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm excited for what you're doing. I like the approach that you're taking to the hobby and working the business in, and the care is clearly there, and the care for the industry and giving back. Like, you're doing a great job, man. Honestly, I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming over, sitting down with us for a moment,
Love
dude.
the podcast. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in with us today. As we do always with our guests, we will be having a runaway microphone that will be coming back this evening on a Zoom call with Bob for a Q&A. So if you want to join us for that, then there's a link down in the description. We would love to have you there. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. And until next week, you've been watching Triple B TV. Y'all take care.
4 missed calls, so I'm assuming something sold.
Yeah, I know. I want you to not be able to get back. Dude, Earl Jones squeezed through there. Anybody can. Freaking Mike's flying away from me over here. It's about as simple as it gets, really. You're watching Triple B TV. That's the intro.